Remember that fun new lineup construction that was going to fix the Rangers offense? Yeah, well, that lasted for about 6 innings.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about Corey Seager unfortunately landing on the IL, why it's not the worst case scenario. Unfortunately, even more injury news. Joc Pederson ending the 0 at 0 for 41. A little bit about Kumar Rocker, just struggling quite a bit in this one. And I don't know, maybe we'll find some positive things to talk about on today's show as well. Before we get into all of that, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Now, before we get started, I do want to address the elephant in the room. If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, I did get a new web camera. Yes, I am self-conscious about how much of my face it shows. Either you're welcome or I'm sorry, but mostly you're welcome. But last night's game did not go as planned. And before the game even started, the Rangers got some suboptimal news. Not the worst news they could have gotten, but still not great news when your best player, Corey Seager, lands on the 10-day IL with a right hamstring strain. That is a grade 1 strain for those of you medical experts at home, or it's a grade 1 strain for anybody, just despite your lack or abundance of medical expertise. But what that means is that, Corey Seager avoided the worst case scenario when he came up limping after that ground out to the middle infield that ended his day on Tuesday. I feared for the worst case scenario, as Seager has had multiple different hamstring strains, and usually they don't get better the more you have them. He had a right hamstring strain previously with the Dodgers. He had a left hamstring strain back in 2023 that kept him out for the better part of a month. I think it was around closer to 5 or 6 weeks back in 2023. That was around May. That was when Zeke Duran came up and played out of his mind, played like an all-star, the best he's ever looked. Alas, that's not going to be happening this time, because to bring Zeke up, that didn't happen. Nick Ahmed was called up to replace Corey Seager on the roster while he is out. But the best part of that news is that it's just a grade 1 strain, and the Rangers GM Ross Fenstermaker said it's probably just going to be for around that 10-day mark, around the 10 days that he's on the IL. That's about how long it should take to recover. Best case scenario. Honestly, best case scenario, because sometimes it could take up to a month, 6 weeks, 2 months with these hamstring strains. Usually the more you have them, the worse they get. But thankfully it wasn't that bad of one. Hopefully Corey Seager has learned his lesson about not needing to hustle when you're incredibly slow. Maybe just save those hamstrings to hit the baseball and then trot gingerly around the bases. Maybe that will be the lesson there. But unfortunately, the Rangers lineup reverted back to not scoring lots of runs. They were already down 5-0 by the time they even got on the board in that game last night. But we will see a little bit of Nick Ahmed there against left-handed pitchers. Josh Smith will be the primary shortstop while Corey Seager is out. That is good news for an easy way to slip Josh Smith into the lineup. He has been one of the Rangers' best hitters so far this season. So more time for Josh Smith is a good thing. Less time for Corey Seager, never a good thing, but only the 10 days. That is a good thing for the Rangers. They did have to make a 40-man roster move to put Nick Ahmed on the roster. They decided to designate Walter Pennington for assignment, the left-handed reliever who was the main, if not, I think the only return in the trade of Michael Lorenzen to the Kansas City Royals last year. He was fine in a couple of stints at the big league level last year, or I guess a couple of outings at the big league level last year. In spring training, he looked horrendous. And then in AAA this year, he also looked really bad. I don't love just going ahead and basically giving up on a guy, but everybody who I talked to that saw Walter Pennington this spring said, yeah, he's cooked. This was just not anybody with super duper impressive stuff, but you don't love making a call on a guy like that just for 10 days of backup infielder when you have other options like Zeke Duran or Jonathan Ornelas there. But sure, it's fine. It is what it is. Just overall, not a very inspiring day. I'll talk a little bit more about Kumar Rocker after that. But maybe the most newsworthy thing that happened last night or yesterday for the Texas Rangers is Joc Pederson ending the over streak. Finally, the streak is over. Clap it up. 0 for 41 as truly just an homage to Dirk. That's what this must have been because it ended at exactly 41. But of course, it comes in a pinch hit appearance against I will say the best closer in baseball right now in Mason Miller. This is the type of thing that the Rangers got Joc Pederson for. He hits velocity, not just 95, but 98, 105. Well, 101, I believe, miles an hour was the pitch that he doubled to center field. 107 miles an hour off the bat. Expected batting average of 630. Would have been a home run in absolutely zero parks, but it almost looked like he was about to get thrown out. He almost did get thrown out trying to turn what should have been a double if he was hustling out the gate. I think he was just dumbstruck by the fact that the ball that he hit wasn't finding a fielder. I mean, this isn't the highest expected batting average that he's had in this 0 for 41 or in the stretch since his last hit. He has hit some balls very, very hard, some balls that absolutely should have been hits. It was just a lot of bad luck, but Joc still believing in himself. What a good day for him to get going. The first day without Corey Seager in this lineup. The Rangers need Joc Pederson's bat. They just do. He is a big part of why I think this offense will turn around, why this offense will start scoring runs like a top 10 offense in baseball, like they should be. This should honestly be probably a top 6 offense in baseball, I think, when everybody's healthy and everybody's humming. But for the most part, nobody's been humming. Pretty much outside of Wyatt Langford, outside of Josh Smith, nobody has been humming for the vast majority of this season. Simeon went after a great day, goes 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Jake Berger 0 for 3 with the strikeout and also a caught stealing. I mean, just not a great day for this offense to win 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, only managed 2 runs, one of which coming off of a massive bomb from Wyatt Langford. He had the true outcome day, 1 for 3 with a home run, a strikeout, and a walk. The strikeout coming on a really nasty sweeper with a really ugly swing. But my goodness, he just absolutely demolished that baseball. His 6th home run of the season. And Wyatt Langford continues to have an exceptional start to this season and really look like a true breakout guy. I mean, the thing that Wyatt Langford has done so well this season is he knows when to swing. Last year, he knew when not to swing. Now he knows when to swing. And the types of swings that he's putting off are very, very good. Most of the damage that players do while slugging, hitting for extra base hits, home runs and doubles, the vast majority of those are balls that are hit in the air and they are pulled. That is the easiest way to hit a home run. The easiest way to hit an extra base hit that's where you do the most damage, the hardest hit balls. The best kind of contact is a ball that is pulled and in the air and in that kind of sweet spot for the launch angle of around 25 to 30-ish degrees off the bat and pulled. That's what he's doing. A quarter of his balls that he is hitting are pulled fly balls or pulled balls in the air. That is significantly better than league average. And when you're doing that with elite bat speed, with elite raw power, and you're swinging at the correct types of pitches, you're working yourself into friendly counts, that's when good things happen for you as a baseball player. And lots of good things are happening for Wyatt Langford as a baseball player. He is crushing fastballs. He is doing his best against breaking stuff. It's weird. He absolutely has been killing sweepers this year, but eaten alive by sliders. He hasn't been great against off-speed stuff. When you're doing as well as he is, hitting sinkers and four-seam fastballs, that is a recipe for successipy. If you are a guy like Wyatt Langford, he is going to have to step up in a big way to help carry this offense. The rest of this offense is too. It is not just going to be up to Wyatt Langford for this team to score runs. You need more guys than that. You need guys like Jake Berger, like Marcus Semien, like Joc Pederson to step up and help get this offense going. I mean, having a 2/3 of your lineup be slumping for nearly a month, that is a difficult place to be as a lineup. But again, if you're just have a lineup full of players who are bad, players who are young, who you don't know if they're actually good or not, then that kind of a thing, maybe it's just not something. Maybe the lineup is just not good. But when your lineup is filled with guys who have done it, who have been there, who have done it, who have been successful big leaguers for a prolonged period of time, they all go through slumps. Eventually, everyone goes through slumps, and it's unlikely for everybody to be going through a slump at the same time. But then eventually those guys break out of their slumps. Eventually those guys have things that get them going, and hitting in this ballpark against this A's pitching staff, which they should have done a little bit better job last night like they did the night before. But maybe that's enough to just finally get this offense going. Unfortunately, Corey Seager wasn't the only one who got news about being hurt last night, and the pitching was, well, two-thirds of the pitchers that pitched last night had a great day, but I'm going to talk about the one who didn't in Kumar Rocker and why things have gone off the rails a little bit in that last start. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed. As easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's also on your Fire TV. With Wi-Fi 6E devices, auto low latency mode, advanced technology, Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother, more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds so you stay competitive. You've also got all kinds of different ways to play. If you are a big travel person, this is just the easiest way to just take your device with you. You don't have to lug a big old console with you. Your Fire TV Stick can just be like a travel console. All you do is you bring your Fire TV Stick, you bring your paired device, and boom, there you go. Gaming on the road made so easy. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV locked on to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max version 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Shout out to the Aviators for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be talking about Jacob deGrom, hopefully talking about a series win for these Texas Rangers, hopefully talking about an offensive breakout, hopefully talking about a 17-0 win in which everything goes perfectly. Jacob deGrom throws a perfect game on 90 or so pitches with 25 strikeouts. I don't know if that's mathematically possible, but hey, no matter what happens, I'll be back tomorrow talking about this Texas Rangers squad. Now, unfortunately, Corey Seager wasn't the only player to be announced with an injury. There was a better way to say that, but that's the way my brain works. The only player who wasn't the only player who got placed on an IL yesterday. Thankfully, nobody else at the big league level but Emiliano Teodo was placed on the minor league injured list, 7-day injured list with shoulder fatigue. That's not ideal, but what is more ideal is that he's only expected to miss 7 to 10 days. Hopefully, that is all the time that he misses, and that he comes back and is perfectly fine and starts to look more like the amazing Emiliano Teodo we saw both last year and in spring training this year. But with Teodo on the IL, the Rangers now have 4 of their top 5 pitching prospects on the IL, and a couple of them are there to stay, unfortunately. The only one who's not hurt is, that's Kumar Rocker. Jack Leiter will hopefully be back soon. That's the Rangers' top 2 pitching prospects. And then you have Winston Santos, who is dealing with lower back inflammation. That is going to keep him out for the better part of 2 months, possibly 3 months. And then you have Alejandro Rosario, the breakout prospect last year, who is going to undergo Tommy John surgery at some point. I'm not sure that he has. He was diagnosed with a UCL injury about a month ago, and there was some issue that was keeping him from getting Tommy John surgery. The Rangers did not say what it was. They have not said if he has or has not had Tommy John surgery. I don't know what is happening there that he hasn't had the surgery, but whatever it is, I trust the Rangers medical staff to have more of an idea of what's going on. I kind of wish that they would tell us, because every day that he is delayed from actually getting the surgery, that just sets back his timetable for return. If he had gotten the surgery, Alejandro Rosario, that is, when the diagnosis happened or within a week of when that happened, it would have been probably around a mid-season 2026 return. And now it's going to be, the thought was maybe June or July sometime in 2026. Now it's looking like July or August. And I don't know what's going on there, but I hope that they get that figured out. I hope that Alejandro Rosario is healthy and everything can go perfectly according to plan, because I'd rather him just miss one season with Tommy John surgery as opposed to 1.5 or 2 seasons, which if this keeps on getting delayed, he might end up missing 2 full seasons with this, which is really not ideal for his development timeline. But you know what also is not ideal for your development is throwing poorly. This was just a rough game for Kumar Rocker, not an efficient start. Coming off of his best start of the year, no, his best start as a professional, 7 innings, 0 walks, just 3 runs that were earned. Should have been 0 if his defense helped him out a little bit more, but a career high in the big leagues, 8 strikeouts, and more importantly, his first big league win. You thought, okay, things are starting to look better for Kamar Rocker. This looks more like the Kamar Rocker that we were promised, the Kamar Rocker that we saw dominate in AA and AAA last year and have some flashes of brilliance at the big leagues in 2024. But alas, that was not the case. Just an inning and 2/3 for Rocker, despite throwing 63 pitches. Did have a couple of strikeouts. Those came back to back in the second inning, and those were the last outs that he recorded in this one. Not ideal, especially for his development, but especially in terms of the team. The Rangers had to throw so many of their A relievers in the first game of the series, and this is the start, of a 12 games in 12-day stretch. I believe this is the longest stretch of the season that the Rangers have without an off day. So having your starting pitcher throw 5 innings and then having to throw, what was it, 4? Not quite, I don't think 5 of your leverage relievers, including your closer, in game 1 of this stretch. And then you have to eat 4, you get 4 to third innings from Jake Latz. Masterful job. We'll talk about him later. And Caleb Bosley, not Bushley or Bauschley like I have previously pronounced. My apologies to Caleb and the Bosley family. Also, why is that pronounced like that? Again, I have a last name of Patrick, so who am I to judge? Who am I to poo-poo the pronunciation of anybody's name? But this was just a tough day at the office for Rocker, and part of it was because he just didn't have the feel for his slider. He didn't have the feel for really much of anything. He threw too many four-seam fastballs because he just didn't trust anything. And, it's not that this is the one start that the Rangers are going to say, okay, well, because you performed poorly in this one start, we are going to send you back down to the minor leagues. It's kind of a look at everything. I mean, what was working for him last night was just not much. I mean, he wasn't able to put away hitters. His mechanics were inconsistent. His delivery was not repeatable. And when you only throw basically 2-3 pitches, if one of them is you don't have really a great feel for, that makes for a really tough day at the office. And that's a lot of what happened with Kamar Rocker. I mean, he threw 63 pitches. He threw 30 of them were sliders. 20 of them were four-seam fastballs. That, I believe, is the most that he has thrown of that four-seam fastball in any game this year, which, again, like I've said about a million times, it's not a great pitch. The velocity is nice, but everything else around it, including his ability to locate, his ability to command the strike zone, he was not throwing quality strikes. Even when he'd get ahead, he would not really throw quality strikes. I mean, the last batter that he faced, he got ahead 0-2 and then just hung a slider, and that was it. That was the end of his day, which is not ideal. He only threw 9 sinkers and 4 changeups. He didn't throw the curveball at all. Heck, he's barely thrown the curveball at all this season, and I don't really know why. The only start where he threw the curveball a whole lot was against the Mariners. That was a start where he just didn't have a feel for much of anything. At that point, he threw 68 pitches in that game against the Mariners where he got clobbered. 40 of them were sinkers, 18 of them were curveballs. He only threw 4 sliders, 4 changeup, and 2 four-seam fastballs. I don't know what it is that makes him vary so much from start to start of, what pitches he's feeling good about, what pitches he's not feeling good about. In the start that he performed well against the Rays, he threw 39 sinkers, 25 sliders, and not much of anything else. He finally threw a cutter. That was the first time that we've seen that in a big league game. And then against the Angels, the start that was working, he threw 45 sliders, 16 four-seam fastballs, 16 sinkers, and just one changeup. When you've only got 3 pitches and one of them's not working, it's easy for the hitters to just foul off and foul off and foul off until you make a mistake. And that's kind of what happened. He'd get ahead to 2 strikes, and then he'd get into these long, drawn-out battles that he mostly lost. And it was just not a great day. I really wish he would have at least tried a curveball. Maybe he didn't have any feel for it. I don't know exactly what the deal is with Rocker, but hey, this is what I said kind of to expect from him at the start of the season. He's going to have some starts where he looks awesome. He's going to have some starts where he gets lit up. He allows some hard contact. He is not a finished product by any means. I mean, you think about how little baseball he's actually played, how few innings he's actually thrown since he was drafted, since he was drafted the first time even by the Mets. It's not been a whole lot of innings. So just getting these reps and remembering that, development is not always a linear process. Sometimes there are setbacks. Sometimes there are things like this. And, it doesn't mean that he's a bad pitcher. It doesn't mean that he's washed. It doesn't mean, give up on Kumar Rocker. He had a couple of bad starts. Every other start is just bad. Maybe just start him more at home. That's where his 2 great starts have been, and his bad starts have been on the road. Maybe that helps with it. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think it's just getting a feel for that slider, getting a feel for the other pitches, getting a comfort level. And he said learning how to attack and adjust in game is something that he is definitely working on, definitely something that he could work on. Maybe it ends up that Rocker ends up going down to AAA when Jack Leiter is recalled off the IL. That will probably either happen on Sunday's game, or maybe the Rangers will end up starting Patrick against the Giants in the finale of that series in San Francisco this weekend, so that they can put Leiter in that first game against the A's, so that Patrick Corbin is not starting back-to-back starts against the A's. Maybe they'll do something differently. I don't entirely know, but it just wasn't a good day for Rocker. And, just because he had a bad day doesn't mean he's a bad pitcher. But who had a good day? I'm going to talk about a couple people who had a good day, including the Rangers bullpen and including a Rangers prospect who I saw last week and looked maybe even better last night in his 3rd start of the season. Talk about who that is and what he did, all that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing better than catching a baseball game live. Whether it's the crack of the bat, the smell of the peanuts, or the popcorn, or if you want to get yourself some Dippin' Dots, there is just nothing like a baseball experience in the summer. It is the best time for it. And getting tickets to those baseball games, it used to be difficult. Not anymore. You've got Game Time on your side. The best place to get your tickets. Last minute prices is the official ticketing partner of Locked On. And I've used it so many times to go to different events. Whether you want to go and check out a Frisco Rough Riders game, go see Sebastian Walcott, or no matter where you are, if you're in the state of Texas, it's probably a minor league team near you. Or if you want to go to a major league game, or hey, I'm going to a concert tonight in Game Time. That is a great way to get ticket concerts to Sammy Ray and the friends I'm checking out tonight. A great show, a great band. But getting tickets is so easy with Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Shout out to the Everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. I'll be back on Monday talking about this weekend series in the actual Bay against the San Francisco Giants after every single game. Check out the postcast with Jeff Biggs. It'll be wherever you find your Locked On Rangers flagship show. You will find the Locked On Rangers postcast with Jeff Biggs. Go check him out for some immediate post-game reaction. Does a great job with that show there. Very happy to have him as a part of the Locked On Rangers team. But speaking of the Rangers team, so the Locked On Rangers team is doing great. The Locked On, the actual Texas Rangers last night, not the best day. But hey, I got to give a shout out to Jacob Latz and Caleb Bosley. A combined 6 1/3 innings, 3 walks, just 6 strikeouts. But hey, only 3 hits allowed. They did allow one of their inherited runners to score for Kamar Rocker. That scored on a bases loaded walk. A bases loaded walk by, I believe, that was the shortstop for the Oakland Athletics, Jacob Wilson. Yes, that was Jacob Wilson, an RBI walk, his first walk of his big league career. A guy who swings a lot and almost never swings and misses, and just, again, swings a lot, does not walk a whole lot. But hey, after that, Jacob Latz buckled down in a big, big way. These two absolutely saved this Rangers pen. They saved him so that the A side of this pen didn't have to pitch at all. And exactly this is what you want from your guys that are the B side relievers, the guys who are your long men, your mop up men. It's not always going to be pretty, especially when your starter gives up 5 runs. Well, at that point, he had given up 4 runs in an inning and 2/3, and he just did not have it. And the offense had been kickstarted the night before. And when you come in like this, you just have to give your team a chance to win the game. That's it. That's all you're asking. You can give up a run or two, but basically you do your best to just try and give your offense some time to figure it out, to put some things together. And the Rangers offense did figure things out a little bit. They were able to put a couple of runs on the board. They were able to make Mason Miller pitch. Hopefully he won't be able to pitch back-to-back nights. This was very much the A side of this A's pen. They've got a couple of relievers who have been amazing. Tyler Ferguson has been exceptional so far. We saw that last night. Mason Miller has been downright untouchable. We saw that. And for the Rangers to be able to get into the A side of the pen, maybe forcing those guys to go back-to-back days could help the Rangers get the series win against the not Oakland Athletics. But going 6 1/3 innings, only using these two relievers, saves your pen, especially in this stretch of 12 games in 12 days. Hats off to Jacob Latz. Hats off to Caleb Bosley for doing the dang thing. This is exactly what you ask for the guys in that side of the pen. And really, tip of the cap. Honestly, a great, great job by these guys. But this was just overall not a great game. And it feels like a super recipe for grumpiness, a late night game, a late night divisional game, because that's where most of these Rangers West Coast 9:05 p.m. starts. 6 games in a row starting, I guess 5, I think, starting at past 9 p.m. local time is a real recipe for grumpiness, especially when they end in a loss, especially when Corey Seager is down for 10 days right at the start of it. But there were some good things happening last night in the Texas Rangers organization. Maybe not as much at the big league level, outside of Joc breaking the over streak, outside of the big old massive home run by Wyatt Langford, outside of the B side of this pen looking really darn good and doing their dang job. But down on the farm in Corpus Christi, a great start by Cole Drake. 10 strikeouts for him, tying a career high. He has never had 10 strikeouts in a AA game so far in his career, but the 24-year-old left-handed Wiley native was absolutely dominant last night against the Corpus Christi Hooks. I saw him last week in Frisco. He went 5 innings of shutout ball, walked just 1, allowed just 1 hit, and struck out 6. He was masterful. And then against the Corpus Christi Hooks, 4 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs allowed, couple of walks, and 10 strikeouts. Yes, that's right. 4 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts. He had 17 strikes looking and 16 whiffs on just 71 pitches. That is a fantastic night. I mean, this kid is looking every bit like the dominant strikeout pitcher that he was last year. He was top 10 in minor league baseball. Not top 10 in the Rangers system, but top 10 in minor league baseball with his 148 strikeouts last year. That was just in 106 innings. He also had a 2.29 ERA in 3 different levels, including down east, including Hickory, including Frisco as well. 12.6 Ks per 9 last year. And this year he's been even better. Even with a really bad first start. The first start of the year, he went 3 innings. He walked 3. He had 3 strikeouts. He had a hit by pitch. He allowed 4 runs on 4 hits. And ever since then, all he's done is pitched 9 1/3 innings in 2 starts combined, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts, just 2 hits. He's been incredible back-to-back starts. And this is a kid who I really think could be a big league starter. And this is a kid who not a whole lot was expected of him. Not a whole lot. Last year was a huge breakout for him. He talked about losing some weight to help his delivery be that much better. He really hides the ball well. He has really been just murderous against right-handed hitters, which is a tough thing for lefties to do. but he's been good. He hides the ball well. He throws the ball to all four quadrants. He is able to locate that fastball. It may not be running up to 97, 99 miles an hour. It doesn't have to. When you throw it exactly where you want to, and when you have that changeup, when you have that off-speed stuff as well. I mean, the changeup is really works against those right-handed hitters to keep them off balance, to keep them off of the fastball. I believe he also has a curveball and a cutter, if I am remembering correctly. He might also have a slider. I'm not remembering exactly what that 4 or 5 pitch mix is, but I know he got a fastball. I know he's got a changeup, and both of those have been absolutely nasty to start the season so far this year. That is a great sign for the Rangers. But hey, this team is in the middle of a 12-game stretch, and not every single game is going to be beautiful. Not everything is going to be perfect every single time. Thankfully, with the Corey Seager news, it's not as bad as it could have been. And when you have Josh Smith swinging as well as he has, hopefully that can start to kickstart things. Hopefully Joc Pederson, hopefully this road trip can just kind of kickstart this offense into gear. They are well overdue to start hitting like some absolute mashers, like the great baseball players that they have been for the entirety of their career. A little bit of a rough night last night, but hey, Jacob deGrom on the hill with a chance to win the series against a starter in JT Ginn, who has not been exceptional so far. Maybe that will be proper motivation and the proper recipe for a Rangers series win tonight. And so we don't all have to wake up on Friday morning grumpy from another West Coast Lots. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.